get real for a moment. We've all known somebody, maybe it was a friend, a family member, or even ourselves, who tried to feel a pain no one could see. Pain they couldn't name. Pain that didn't show up on the outside, but was destroying life from the inside. Hello and welcome to the Main Health Show. I'm Stephanie Anderson. Addiction isn't just about substances. It's often trauma wrapped in desperation, dressed up as coping. And here's something most people won't tell you. You don't fail at healing. You just haven't been given the tools to go deep. Well, today we have a woman who literally wrote the book on compassion with a purpose. She's a trauma educator, a mental health advocate, a published author, and a licensed clinician with over 25 years of real world experience, supporting people through the darkest chapters of their lives, especially those struggling with trauma and addiction. She's been called to this work not just by training, but by life itself. Main Health audience, please help me welcome Donna, Costa, LMSW, a powerhouse in trauma-informed care, and she's transforming recovery from a buzzword into a pathway to freedom. Donna, welcome to the Main Health Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I believe it was this past November, I had the pleasure of meeting you.
Yes.
And as I saw you on stage, I think that you were on stage facilitating a segment with women. And I got to hear your story. And I'm like, this is somebody I need to know. And I thought about having you as a guest. So thank you for accepting the invitation.
Yes, yes. And likewise, I said in your workshop and I was like, why aren't we talking about this more?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to jump right in because we only have so much time, and this is such a meaty subject that I would love for the Main Health audience to get more knowledge about. When you say it's all about relationship, after nearly 2 decades in social work, what taught you that relationships, not titles, tools, or techniques, are the true foundation of healing and leadership?
Well, it was being in relationship with people that really taught me. But, it was really observing and seeing that it didn't matter what title that you held. It didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter the amount of money. Sometimes titles can command a certain level of perceived respect. However, if someone doesn't feel like they're seen, it'll only go so far within that connection piece. And I learned from probably the most profound person that ever entered my life. And I was in graduate school and I was doing an internship at a middle school. And one of the little girls, inner city, she was rough around the edges. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't understand why I just didn't like her. Okay. I choose this word specifically because those were the words that I used with my supervisor. Like, I just don't like her. And I felt bad that I didn't, but I was scared of her. I was scared of what she brought out in me. And so my supervisor, she listened to me and she says, I want you to put the books away, because I was trying to fit her into a theory. I know the stuff. Yeah. And she said, I want to put the books away and I just want you to just be. And when she said that, I had no clue what that meant to just be. What she was trying to say is just be in a relationship with her. And so, it wasn't like, the next time I met with her, it was just like, oh, wow, this is, what she was talking about. It took steady showing up being consistent,
Yeah.
and being real.
Yeah.
Because people know when you're real or not.
They do.
And that is what taught me that it doesn't matter, like all the stuff that you have, the assessments,
Yeah.
the evidence-based practices, those are all great.
Yes.
But if a person,
tools.
right,
Yeah.
if a person doesn't feel seen
Yeah.
or understood, that's an opportunity lost.
I love that you said that, and you identified within yourself when you didn't like her. It was really a fear.
Yeah, it was my stuff.
It was. Come on now. And a lot of times that's what it is. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the other person.
Yeah,
It had everything to do with you, but you were given by your supervisor the capability, put down the diagnoses, put down the manuals, put down, we know you know your stuff, but allow yourself to feel. And thank you for not saying, well, hallelujah, the next time I seen her, it was all good. No, it was a process that not only she had to undergo, but you did as well.
Yes.
In order to be able to help her.
Absolutely. And I feel like, all I know, it was, it was a God moment. God, made sure that that connection happened for me.
Yeah.
Because had it not, I would have went on just trying to cram theory down this little girl's throat. And that's not what she needed.
She didn't need that.
Mm-mm.
And authenticity.
Yeah.
People can feel it.
Yes.
And savvy little girls who've been around the corner a couple of times.
Yes.
Can discern it.
Yeah.
And so they've probably had a lot of people before you have maybe been accustomed to people trying to cram theory down there. They needed someone who was going to be real with them. Even if it took a process to get there, even for you.
Absolutely.
She needed that.
And to see her, and then to be able to be her voice. Because just like you said, there was a narrative that was, went around the school about her by all the educators. And once you got to know her, you saw who she really was. Because guess what she was doing? She was testing everybody. Yeah. She was testing me because she knew. She thought, she just like everybody else. Until it wasn't that way. And so I was able to be her voice and help others really see who she was. Yeah. And I feel like that was part of, my awakening to this work, not just because I'm a social worker, therapist, I host groups and I teach and all of that, but it's just at the end of the day, that person in front of you is a human being.
Yes.
And we miss opportunities when we don't see that person.
That's it. And the mere fact that you realize this is a human being I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And she was just acting out. And it was a test.
Yeah.
That you almost failed, but thank goodness you
Absolutely.
were given the opportunity to say, hey.
Yeah.
And sometimes we interact with people and we see the result of what they're doing, but we don't really take the time to ask, why are they doing that?
Yes.
And there's a reason behind, because things just don't happen. And people get a payoff, even if it's for doing bad stuff.
I laugh because there's this gentleman that, gives everybody a hard time at the clinic that I'm at. And when I say a hard time, like folks like, oh, he's going to be here, and folks are already kind of like this. And so when he showed up and I got to meet him for the first time, and he is giving everybody a hard time, like almost like what you looking at kind of stuff. And I'm like, he just actually wants attention, good or bad.
Yeah.
He's going to get what he feels like he's missing.
There's a payoff.
Yes.
People don't do things unless they get a payoff. Like you said, whether it's good attention or bad attention, it's attention.
Yeah.
They're being seen.
Yeah.
Maybe not in a way that you or I would want to be seen.
Yeah.
But they're getting that attention.
Yeah.
That's bad. So his reputation preceded him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I couldn't wait to meet this person. Yes. And I'm like, oh.
He just wants attention.
Yeah.
He wants to be seen. So let me ask this. You describe your work as grace building work. And I love that. What does grace look like in real life, especially for leaders who are trying to balance accountability with compassion?
Well, first I have to put out here and dispel the myth that grace means no accountability.
Yeah.
There is absolutely accountability in grace. Grace also means that I meet you where you are. And I look beyond what your behavior, your actions may be saying, because we're notorious. Humans are notorious for judging a book by its cover. And not really knowing like what's underneath. And so I urge people to look under what is being presented, because that may not be what they're trying to communicate. So instead of, I help people kind of really change language.
I like that.
Change the how we see things. What may look like a bad attitude could be someone's nervous system could be overloaded.
Yes. Yeah.
But it could come across as if they're, oh, she got so much attitude. Well, you know what? Before she came in, she was on the phone with her husband and going through it.
Yes.
And walks in still dealing and
the processing that emotion,
right,
that feeling,
right,
and what she probably had to deal with when she get home,
right. And so what is being presented, don't always take it at face value.
We internalize that, how a person's reacting to us. We internalize that, but it's about them.
Yes.
So when you were sharing that and how we kind of look at people and it's surface stuff and it's really a deeper thing going on, I thought about the layers of an onion.
Yeah.
That, there's so many complex layers to people. And sometimes even, like with road rage.
Yeah.
They're really not even mad at the person in front of them that they're honking the horn at, or they're just giving the bird, flipping them off to. A lot of times there's something else that's going on. That person is just the person who's feeling that wrath at the time.
Yeah.
Still dangerous. But it's still like, if you don't engage with it, so just like when you said, I got to see this man come in, you recognize, oh, that's attention-seeking antics.
Yeah.
He wants attention.
Yes.
So when somebody's flipping you off, blowing the horn, don't pay no attention.
I love you too.
Yes. Girl, I don't even look. I just keep straight. Because it can be dangerous if you don't have the tools to help. So I want to talk about compassion fatigue. It's something many helping professionals and leaders don't realize that they're carrying until they're burned out. Now, I always want to share with people like you who are doing so many things. I see a cape behind you flowing in the wind. But I know that a lot of times that when you're helping people, there is something that, how do you protect yourself? What do you deal with? And what are the early warning signs to keep you from being fatigued?
Well, don't get it twisted. Okay. That cape gets heavy.
Yeah.
And it gets heavy in ways that we don't quite realize that it is. When you're dealing with humans that have trauma in their backgrounds, and largely every person that we encounter does. And if that is the work that you're in, guess what? You are at risk for compassion fatigue. And a lot of times you may not even realize that you're in it until you're like knee deep in it. And it's insidious. It kind of like settles into the bones. And before you know it, you realize that, how did I get to this place of sometimes despair? Because what it can look like is, exhausted, chronic fatigue, and what we feel like I just need more sleep. But you're sleeping and getting up and you're still tired. Compassion fatigue changes your worldview. That's actually the difference between burnout and compassion fatigue, because compassion fatigue changes your outlook on life. When what I mean by that, it becomes like everything seems hopeless, and that's a dangerous place to be in. Because it can actually make you feel as if you're no longer good for the work. And once you start having those thoughts, those are red flags. And I tell folks that's data. Once you start observing things that you used to enjoy, you no longer enjoy. That's data, that's information. Pay attention to that. And I say that from a place of experienced compassion fatigue more than once, because the work you are at risk of. If you have what I call the superpower of empathy, you have this ability to almost in a way step in someone's shoes and feel what they feel just for a moment. You are at risk for compassion fatigue. And so I've been in it, and I still don't realize that I'm in it. You know, I'm dealing with my sister who had a stroke last year, and when I tell you that I just went into survival mode and didn't realize that's what I was doing, that's where I was at.
Compassion fatigue.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you did say, because we were talking about compassion fatigue and burnout.
Yeah.
So you said there are distinct differences. So you so eloquently and detailed share with us what that compassion fatigue is. What is burnout?
Burnout is, as it can mimic compassion fatigue. They both can look similar because, you know, that exhaustion, you know, changing, you know, cynical. You can become, you know, all that irritableness. You know, if someone's giving you feedback like, girl, Stephanie, girl, what's wrong with you? That's that.
That's it.
They're reflecting something back to you that they're noticing. Those all show up both.
Yeah.
And with burnout, typically, folks can like go from, I can take you from what's burning you out. Say you're in this role and put you in another role. Okay. You know, stuff starts leveling out. You know,
you feel see a little more relief.
Yes. Okay. However, with compassion fatigue, you carry that baggage with you.
Your whole view has changed. Yeah. The landscape.
It takes you, and when you get to whatever new environment and you realize, well, I thought it was different. Right. Hello.
Yeah.
That's the
data for sure. That's something serious. Okay, for someone listening today who feels stuck, disconnected or confused by their own reactions or relationships, what is one mindset shift or relational practice they can start with to move toward a more enriched, joyful life? What would you recommend?
The first is recognizing that it is not a character flaw.
Okay, I like that.
It is a part of being part of the human experience. And so once you recognize that it's not a character defect, there's not like, oh, wow, I'm failing at this. If you were to probably look to your left or to your right, you know, you probably have some peers who may be experiencing it as well. But we've gotten so good at masking, you know, and, you know, because when I say I was the sickest I've ever been, you know, alcoholic, but a leader in an organization, you could not tell because I presented well, but was a hot mess.
You were able to function even in the process. Yeah.
But if you were to speak on, this is what I'm experiencing, I would bet my life on this, that someone near you too.
Transparency, and it's sometimes hard to get there. But it can be healing because it can help you. But it can, because a lot of times people are like, this can only be me. Nobody else is dealing with this.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you say, you know, I'm dealing with this, and then like, you too?
Yeah.
It starts that process.
Yes.
It starts that process.
Of liberation even, because it become such a stronghold when you feel like you are the only one experiencing.
It's heavy.
And it's isolating. And so it becomes that, you know, it's just you. And when it becomes just you, your voice is the only voice that you hear.
So many people are so afraid, Donna, to share because they feel like there's so much stigma attached to it. We talk about emotions and mental health and challenges that a lot of times people like they don't want to say anything because they feel like they're going to be judged. But a lot of times it's an opportunity for healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard your story and you got so much to share, but as time goes on, I know that there is going to be someone that is going to want to, maybe touch base with you, learn a little bit more about what it is that you do.
Yeah.
Can you share details about how to get in contact with you to the show?
Absolutely. I do have a LinkedIn. I do have an LLC, Black Girl Recovering. That is I. And I get invited to speak. And whenever I get invited to speak, especially on those who might be struggling with addiction, women of color, who want to talk about mental health, I show up for that. So you can check out my blog I have on LinkedIn. It's Black Girl Recovering. Donna Costa, LinkedIn. Either way, you can get a hold of me. And also Black Girl Recovering at outlook.com is my email. So yeah.
I love that. And I love the name of that LLC. It's just so profound. And yeah, that superhero cape, it does get kind of heavy.
It does.
Stick around. We're going to come back for our next segment of the Main Health Show called The Main Question. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Stephanie Anderson, the Alopecia Advocate, speaker, author, and host of the Main Health Show. If you're living with alopecia, struggling with self-image, or simply yearning to feel seen, heard, and whole again, I wrote this book just for you. My newest book, 52-Week Daily Devotionals and Alopecia Affirmations, Cultivate Empowerment and Self-Love Every Day of the Year, is a transformational guide to help you reclaim your confidence, restore your faith, and rediscover your beauty inside and out. Each day delivers a heartfelt devotional rooted in spiritual truth, paired with a daily affirmation designed to uplift your spirit, challenge negative beliefs, and replace them with radical love for you. This isn't just a book. It's a healing companion, a daily practice, a declaration that you matter. Your reflection matters. Your journey matters. Get ready to walk in your worth, speak your life into your reflection, and start each day with divine confidence. It's time to love who you see in the mirror every single day. You're not alone in this journey. And this book, 52-Week Daily Devotionals and Alopecia Affirmations, is your daily reminder that healing is possible and joy is your birthright. Let's walk in that together. And welcome back to the Main Health Show. This is the segment, The Main Question, Rooted in Awareness, where I get the opportunity to ask my special guest, which happens to be Donna Costa today, a little bit more about alopecia to bring awareness to it. So thank you, Donna, for sticking around. I have a question for you about breaking the stigma of alopecia. How do you feel society can better support individuals living with alopecia, and what role do you think your profession can play in changing perceptions surrounding it?
Yeah. I get a little passionate about objectifying people or treating people's bodies as if it's public property. So for me, it is important that we move away from it, the pointing what happened, because that puts the person in a place of feeling like they need to educate or to explain or defend. They should never, no one should be ever put in that position to begin with. But to break that stigma, I think we need to start normalizing the conversation around it. Demythatizing the whole conversation around alopecia. And I can only liken it to what it was like growing up when we talked about vitiligo and how it was such it was almost like you were considered like a pariah, and so
almost
people,
like leprosy.
right.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's important for us to move away from the language of calling someone out. Our job is to help educate. And the person who, living with alopecia shouldn't be put in the position in the need to have to educate someone else. So we need to stop doing that. And I've noticed that sometimes parents will, in hopes of educating their child, still put the person in the role of, well, can you help my child understand why you're, no, we will not do this. What we're not going to do is put the person in that role. And so I feel as if it's time for us to continue to have these conversations. And I'm so blessed. I know it was a God moment that I said in your workshop, because of parents' anxiety. I'm like, why haven't we been talking about this before? Yeah. But how you present it and bring it just opens up the floor for the conversation. Yeah. Yeah. And once we open up the floor for the conversation, that's everyone, service providers, clinicians, therapists should be ready to learn so they can help educate, as opposed to always putting the onus on the individual themselves.
I love that. Mm-hmm. You brought so much out of that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the conclusion of the Main Health Show. Thank you so much, Donna, for joining me here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Until next time, I'm Stephanie Anderson. Take care and be blessed.